melodic dictation and then self-dictation, where they go home and have them write down, notate a tune that's in their head, something they're familiar with, and then create their own little tune that they notate, which of course is composition. And by the time we get them to the concert choir, we try to do some exercises that are beyond that. This year we did a project in arranging, where we got the kids just how to basically find chords for a tune. And I gave them a couple of tunes to choose from, a couple of standards from the last turn of the century, and several of them, well, all of them, did arrangements of them. I took 17 or so that were pretty legible to me, seemed to be somewhat coherent, and recorded them or sequenced them on the synthesizer. The kids listened to them, and then chose, I told them, if you had to do 3 of these, which 3 would be willing to put time into work on? And they selected these 3 you're about to hear, which happen to be my 3 top choices. And so it worked out very nicely. These are 3 student arrangements of By the Light of the Silvery Moon. The first is by Katrina Farnsworth, who sadly left us about 2 weeks ago when their family moved to Kentucky. But we'll do hers anyway. And then one by Melanie Ewell and one by Katie Noe. I love to listen to the contrasting ones. There were a whole bunch of them, all like that, very different in style, and just fun to listen to. Right now, I'd like to ask Rich Wells to come up and say a word for me.
The next group on the concert are some original compositions by students, and we're very fortunate at Simsbury High School to have a special after-school program, our Composers Workshop series, and it's given students an opportunity to work with a composer educator and to explore their creative process in creating music. You know, when I was in high school, I had this vague impression that in order to be a composer, you had to be dead. You had to be European, you had to be male, and you had to be white. And it's true that a lot of our music back then was that, but what really is true is that composers can be female, they can be from the United States, they can be from Simsbury, Connecticut. And certainly tonight in the next group, you will see some wonderful compositions that have been composed by our students. And this is a very important creative process because some kids are great performers, and I think in the United States we certainly are blessed with having wonderful performing groups. And the history of music education has been around performing groups. And yes, there was that trend that was we wanted to have music appreciation because really we weren't training performers, we were training consumers for the future. But never have we really embraced composition as a real trend in what kids should know and be able to do in music. And the fact is that some kids may not be very good performers, but they may be great composers, and we may be overlooking them because we don't give them the opportunity. So thanks to the support of the Friends for Music, we were able to bring in a guest composer, Eric Nielsen, from Vermont. He's come in on a regular basis over the course of the year. He's worked with students individually and in groups after school. Students have faxed their material to him on a somewhat regular basis, so more regular than others. And he has given them feedback via the email to these students, and they've been composing. And I think what you're going to hear next in our program is going to be pretty spectacular. This is a program we hope to continue next year, and I know a lot of the students are interested in continuing the program next year. 21 students started out, and 18 hung in to the end of the year. And what you'll see now is just a sampling of those pieces. Before they sing those pieces, though, I'd like to introduce our composer in residence, Eric Nielsen.
Thank you and good evening. It's been a pleasure for me to come here this year and to work with interesting ironies